Well, first home buyers, as an owner-occupier proportion of the marketplace, are tracking around 14% of the marketplace, and historically, you'd expect first home buyers to be closer to 17 to 20% mark. So, absolutely, first home buyers are relatively low in the market. The lowest proportion is in New South Wales and in Victoria and in Brisbane, where prices are generally higher, particularly in Sydney, of course. So what can attract first home buyers back to the marketplace? Well, I think there's probably the underlying factor that first home buyers are probably more active than what the official figures would suggest. They're investing now a lot more than they have in the past. So a first home buyer that's buying an investment property rather than an owner-occupier property generally isn't counted by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, but they're counted as an investor. So I think we're seeing more and more of that, where first home buyers simply can't afford to buy a property in the areas that they would desire to be in, generally close to the city or areas with high levels of amenity and social precincts and close to their workplaces. So they're continuing to rent, or they're continuing to stay at home with mum and dad a bit longer, and they're getting into the rental market, into the investment market. And I think that's a legitimate strategy. Well, first home buyer grants, they have affected the market. I think that's without doubt. Look back what happened in 2009 when we saw the boost to the first home buyer's grant. You could get $21,000 for buying a new home or $14,000 for an established home. And we saw the market react virtually immediately to that. But probably what also happened, first home buyers went from about 13% to more than 30% of the overall owner-occupier market. So clearly it was effective. But I think what happens quite quickly is that extra demand does tend to drive up prices, and the benefits of that grant or even that boost dissipated quite quickly. And then, of course, as the boost was removed and as interest rates started to rise, we saw first home buyer numbers absolutely fall off a cliff. So I think grants, sure, they have their place, but I think what would be more effective is removing some of the barriers to entry, like stamp duty and so forth, for first home buyers, or trying to look at other ways for first home buyers to get into the marketplace. Superannuation access has been talked about a lot. I'm not sure if I agree with that or not, but sure, that's another funding source for first home buyers to potentially get into the marketplace. Providing another funding source for first home buyers by allowing them access to super potentially is similar to the grant. It opens up another source of demand. Potentially we're seeing demand from first home buyers, once again pushing prices upwards. So that probably wouldn't be a great scenario because affordability is already quite challenging for first home buyers. The other side is, first home buyers accessing super. Superannuation is designed for retirement. It's designed for building up a nest egg. Allowing access to the funds from superannuation for such a large portion of it. I mean, buying a property, you're generally looking at upwards of $300,000, and even though superannuation funds would be leveraging, it's still a very large proportion of that overall superannuation funds. You could argue that most funds at the moment are very highly leveraged towards equities, so why shouldn't they be highly leveraged towards property? But I think that's a debate that will be ongoing.